Over the past year, I struggled to lose about 12 pounds, and I learned a few important truths about weight loss that are helping me thrive in this new challenge. Smart weight loss strategies matter, but no strategy alone can make the weights stay off for good. A great strategy must be paired with a big enough reason to change. And to succeed long term, you have to change your core identity. If you don't, you may eventually and quietly sabotage your progress, so it fits your old identity and your old beliefs about yourself. First, you have to have a big enough reason. What is your reason? Is it health? Is it aesthetics? For me, it's both. But my biggest reason is that I'm finally choosing myself. A symbol of my freedom and power as a woman. This is me choosing to care as deeply for myself as I care for others. On June 1st, I had a body analysis done, and it showed that my BMI was okay, but my body fat percentage was fairly high at 30%. I was advised to lose 10 pounds of fat and gain 7 pounds of muscle to improve my body composition and fitness scores. So my goal with food over these 9 months is to support fat loss while still eating enough protein to build muscle. In 2 months, I will have another body analysis done and find out how the process has affected my body composition. You have to choose a weight loss strategy that fits your needs. You must eat fewer calories than your body expends, and there are a million ways to do that. Fasting, low carb, vegan, or just calorie counting. Of course, more exercise helps as well. So if you wonder what strategy I followed and what I actually changed with my food, here it is. I wanted to eat plant-based for my health and for ethical reasons. I also desperately needed to feel full while losing weight. And I wanted foods that tasted great. I focused on food with low calorie density, lots of vegetables, to potatoes and other filling starches, fruits, beans, lentils, and tofu, so I could feel full on fewer calories. I started following some great YouTubers who make tasty, healthy foods, and I challenged myself in the kitchen. Enjoying life is absolutely essential on a health journey. Even the best results in the world would not be enough to keep me in a life I hated living. If the process felt miserable and restrictive, I knew I would eventually quit. So instead of asking, how do I force myself to do this so I can get results fast? I started asking, how do I make this a life I actually want to come back to tomorrow? That meant finding joy in the process itself, in food that tasted good and healthy snacks I actually looked forward to. I learned a few basic, easy recipes that helped me stay full and satisfied. And I did a lot of meal prep, so I would never have an empty fridge. I needed healthy food available when I was hungry, so I could stay on track. I also learned to make healthy snacks. I recommend you do the same. I love to indulge, and I bet you do too. And to prepare for those moments you are down or just need something sweet are gold. Then there was the calorie tracking app, Fat Secret. Suddenly, every tiny bite had a receipt. Every snack had to be entered, and that made mindless eating so much harder, because I could no longer pretend it did not count. The app did not judge me, but it did tell the truth, and sometimes that was exactly what I needed. At the same time, I allowed myself to be imperfect with tracking. Sometimes I was short on time, sometimes someone served me food, and I had no idea what was actually in it. And sometimes it just felt awkward or totally impractical to weigh and track everything in the moment. On those days, I focused on what I could control. Eating until I was full, choosing calorie-smart foods when I could, and leaning on the things I had already learned were good options for fat loss. We need staying on track to feel rewarding and quitting to feel really painful if we want to keep going when life gets hard. I decided I want to make this journey public. The possibility of my story inspiring people is rewarding. And the creative challenge of editing and publishing a video is both frightening and exciting. At the same time, the idea of failing where everyone could see it felt awful. I also planned to get professional measurements done, like body scans and VO2 max tests, and share the results. Basically, I was removing my own escape routes. If I did not do what I said I was going to do, there would be nowhere to hide. But why do only a few of us make lasting change? Because there is no finish line. When setbacks come, and they will, trust me, and we are fighting just to keep our heads above the water, and the last thing we want to do is eat healthy. How do we stay consistent? That is when we need a stronger inner drive to keep us going. That inner drive, I believe, is our core identity, who we believe we are, what we believe is true about ourselves, and the standards we naturally try to live up to. If we see ourselves as health-conscious people, it is easier to make healthy choices. But if we see ourselves as junk food-loving sweet tooths, it's a lot harder to get excited about cooking from scratch or choosing fruit instead of candy. Our brains reward us for staying in our comfort zone and acting in line with the identity we already know. We need to truly embrace a new identity that matches the person we want to become. In short, we need to raise our standards and make that standards who we are. If you, for example, have seen yourself as a chubby person, or if you have been overweight for most of your life, it can, believe it or not, feel strange to picture yourself as slim, fit, and confident. It just does not feel like you. It becomes really easy to sabotage your own progress, even when there is no good reason for it. So the real question became, how do you create a new identity? How do you raise your standards and live by them for good? For me, the first step was changing the limiting beliefs that kept pulling me back. I needed my brain to believe in the transformation. The first limiting belief was that I would never succeed long term. Of course, I would never succeed long term with that belief. To fight that belief, I watched transformational videos on YouTube of people who had started from a much harder place than I had. And that gave me hope. It made me believe, if they can do this, I can do this too. Especially when I saw people who had kept the weight off long term through a real lifestyle change. The second limiting belief was that I had to do everything perfectly in order to succeed. So now I remind myself that I can do this if I keep doing my best and keep improving over time. I also remind myself that losing weight slowly can actually be a good thing, because it helps me protect my motivation and build sustainable habits, instead of chasing a quick fix. And most importantly, I remind myself that feeling good matters more than doing everything right. That makes it less likely that I will fall off the wagon and binge for days just because I slipped up once. There is room to be human. In fact, I have only overeaten once this month. This is a huge victory for me. With a more relaxed approach, there is less chance of an identity crisis than when I tried to change everything way too fast. To prepare the brain for an identity shift, you have to help it get used to the new identity. It has to feel familiar and safe. You trick the brain into believing in a new identity, even before the results are visible. The brain loves visuals, and it does not discriminate between what is real and what is not. Imagine how much nonsense you believe about yourself. Luckily, it is just that, nonsense. You have to feed your brain new input. I use transformational videos, but a vision board filled with pictures of your desired end results can help a lot too. It can include old pictures of you at your goal weight, or you can look at pictures of people with the body type you want and picture yourself with that body. Look at it as often as you can, at least a couple of times a day. The brain needs time to get used to a new reality. The brain loves everything familiar. Making something new feel familiar is a way to set your brain up for success. My body did not change dramatically this month, but my mindset did. And honestly, that might be the biggest win, because this is a part that will help me stay consistent in the months ahead. If this video was helpful or gave you something to think about, please give it a like and subscribe so you do not miss the rest of this 9-month challenge. Next month, I am focusing on strength training, and I have a feeling that it is going to be a whole new adventure. And if you want a deeper follow-up on exactly what I have been eating or the weight loss side of this journey, let me know in the comments and I will make a separate video about it later. And if you are on your own health journey right now, I am rooting for you, and I would love to hear about your journey in the comments. Much love to you. I will see you in the next one.